We're recording. And Bob is pointing at the microphone.
Ouch.
He is E.T. healing our microphone.
Yes.
Even though it is not damaged.
But it glows.
It does glow. Is that distracting you?
Not at all.
This glow?
No, I'm just trying to fix it.
We do the best intros. Hi, my name is Tim. This is Precarious Pixels. With me as always is...
Hi, I'm Bob.
Bob.
Also from Precarious Pixels?
Yes. Oh, man. It has been a while since we recorded.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks.
Has it been 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. We're so behind. So, I guess we'll just get right into it right away, because we got a lot of stuff to cover. The movie Spiderman Far From Home came out. We both saw it in theaters, and it was fantastic, in a word. We're going to talk about it a little more in depth, so spoilers, just, letting you know ahead of time, we're going to spoil the crap out of this movie. Yeah.
Agreed.
So if you feel your spidey sense tingling as they make lots of jokes to that in this movie, it's because we're about to spoil this movie.
That's weird that they... Did they even... I'm trying to think. Had they introduced the power before they took it away from him?
No. They had not, they hadn't really gone into, hey, these are his powers or anything like that.
Because they made a statement at the beginning, going to spoilers.
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei says, is that still not working or something like that?
Yeah.
But how would they have known about it? Because did he ever have it before? Or did he have it before he got that Iron Spider suit in Homecoming?
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Whatever that suit was.
Yeah, I don't know what they called that suit. The Mach 2. I don't know. But the Spider Sense only showed up, I remember the first time they showed it was in Avengers Infinity War. The first part of the movie. They showed him he's on the bus, his arm hair raises up, kind of as and then he looks out the window and he's the first person to see the ship over New York.
Yeah.
So there's that. But they've never really gone into all the powers or anything like that. They didn't even they didn't make any allusions to even why he Uncle Ben, all that stuff. They didn't really go into that much.
No, I think the only time they really mentioned it is his suitcase.
Yeah.
Is BJP.
Yeah.
Or BFP.
I think it's a BF. I think it's BF.
Yeah, I think it's Benjamin Franklin Parker.
Right. Yeah.
But that's, I think, the only time they've even mentioned the names. Because I don't think they had said anything about Uncle Ben before.
No. So they might have just kind of done this because of how there's a fight with Mysterio at the end where he kind of leans into the spider sense because he can't really trust any of his other senses. Pretty much Mysterio makes him believe that, that, which is, this is jumping way ahead, but there's a point in the movie where he kind of warps Spider-Man's reality where he can't trust anything he's seeing, and basically it's there's really trippy stuff, which was so perfect for Mysterio. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, that you're talking about the scene in what looks like an office building at the beginning?
Right.
That was nutty.
That was nutty. It was really, really trippy. And the part that I thought was the most disturbing, there's basically a part where he's in a graveyard and Iron Man crawls out of a tomb, just Evil Dead style, zombie, crawls out and you see a decaying Iron Man, in the Iron Man suit, but this, you could see the skeleton showing through, and I was that is some crazy visuals. That is some amazing stuff. I thought that was really well done.
But that is something you see out of a comic.
Yeah.
Dark stuff, but definitely I could see that.
Yeah, it was trippy.
Yes. And I still love the big Mysterio fist coming through the entire building and punching him.
Yes, that was good too.
It's so slapstick.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that they did that was kind of like that.
But I did have one issue with Mysterio.
Uh-oh.
And
Jake Gyllenhaal was too handsome?
I mean, that's always a plus, I guess.
Yes.
But no, my big issue with it was the exposition scene.
Well, which? Oh, you mean
it was rough? It was rough. It was, I think, the most forced exposition I've seen in a mainline Marvel movie.
The part where it's like the Sting, pretty much is, and I mean that when the
the Redford movie.
Yeah.
Was it Redford?
Redford and Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the ones.
Yeah, I guess so. When they're all talking in the bar.
Yeah.
Right after Spider-Man walks out.
And I was just like, okay, I get why they did this scene. It's kind of a big reveal. Again, this is major spoilers. Mysterio is not a hero. He's actually like just, they're all on this big con because they're all ex-employees of Stark who were very unhappy with Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not the only reason. They also want to create a superhero.
Yeah. Which, it was just like, I don't, like that part of it I was just like, okay, but what is everybody else's benefit from it? Like, that's the part I didn't get. I get that they're going to get the weapon system, but then what is the main reason they need it?
Maybe they could sell it.
I guess that's it. Yeah. But also this kind of gives me another thing here. Is like, so Tony Stark had an entire weapons satellite. He could have brought down some drones during when they're fighting a million monsters from Thanos. I was just like, where was that, buddy? He's like, you know what? You got all these Avengers and stuff. You could have saved a couple of wizards and Asgardians or whatever.
And it sat there for 5 years.
Yeah.
Somebody had to have known about it. He had to have given control of his company over to somebody, right?
Right.
Because that's the strangest thing. What happens to Stark Industries during those 5 years?
Well, Potts.
She's running it.
Yeah, I'm betting that's who's like
from the cabin.
I don't know.
Or did she give up on it for 5 years and then went back to it?
Yeah.
The 5-year thing gets me.
Yeah, the 5-year thing is kind of weird. Especially they address it in this too, where it's like, I really like the part where it shows like, the marching band disappears from the high school during a basketball game, like as they're doing like the show or whatever, and then reappears in the middle of a basketball game that's happening 5 years later in like the same positions, just like people are just running into them.
Yep.
And even Aunt May makes an allusion to it where she's like, I'm here to help people who were displaced by I forget what they called it. They called it the blip or something. The blip, which was so it's like I disappeared and then I reappeared and I was in somebody had moved into my apartment and people thought I was like the husband's mistress or something like that and was freaking out and like
and the mother thought she was a ghost.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So they do address it, but I'm just like, I don't know if that would. There's so many things that I'm just like, I don't know. It's very weird.
In literally half of the world.
Yeah.
Gone, So, but it's all of that's the other thing that gets me still is it's every single one of Peter Parker's circle of friends.
Yes, and I get why they did that because
they have to.
They have to. Because if Peter disappears, MJ can't like. It would have been interesting to kind of like play that, where she's like 5 years older and stuff like that. But they're not going to do that.
She still wouldn't be MJ. She's still Gwen Stacy.
Right.
Which is the thing that gets me about that character.
You think that she's the Gwen Stacy of it?
She just plays the Gwen Stacy that I've read. She acts just like that.
Yes.
She doesn't act like MJ at all.
You're talking about Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get that too. But not the MJ in Ultimate Spider-Man is kind of like that a little bit.
Not really.
A little bit.
I don't know.
It's definitely a different take on it.
It is.
But maybe that's kind of what they were like, we've seen MJ as played this way by Kirsten Dunst. We've seen it played this way by...
No, that was Gwen Stacy.
Well, she was Gwen Stacy, but I think that they playing the love interest in different ways and stuff like that.
Guess, I don't know.
Don't worry, when they reboot it again, it'll be something completely different, I'm sure.
Apparently they have, what is it? What was that I read? It was like 5 movies lined up? 5 Spider-Mans?
Well, is that all Spider-Verse and this?
No, I think they're talking about 5 of these.
5 of these? I thought he was obligated to do 5 movies.
Oh, okay, maybe. But I don't know.
Because I think the next one is going to be like one of his last ones. I think. I don't know.
They're just going to end it?
No, they're just going to make another version of Spider-Man.
Why?
I don't know.
This one works for the most part. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Why fix what's not broken?
Right.
Stop it.
Who knows?
We'll see when he fights Venom.
I'm waiting for like them to announce that, and I'm just like, I know they're gonna do it. They're just gonna do it. You're just gonna have a weird Venom Spider-Man movie that makes no sense.
Well, it could work.
It could work, but it makes no sense because the reason he would hate Peter Parker is not there. There's no reason for him to like hate Peter Parker.
That's true. But what if if they fight together?
That would be. I mean, if they do that, that's fine.
Or what if the Venom, parasite, whatever you want to call it, is affecting his mental state so much that he's starting to become homicidal.
Okay.
More homicidal.
More homicidal. He's already eaten dudes' heads and stuff.
Right, but against not just bad people.
Right.
Or even Spider-Man would not be okay with that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And there you go.
What was Venom doing during the snap?
Yeah, where's he? What if the symbiote was the only thing that made it through the snap?
It's true.
And then it was just sliming around on the ground, and then Tom Hardy came back.
Oh, yeah. Well, then it wouldn't be alive, because
it needs a host.
It needs a host, I think.
Maybe they got rid of... Is Tom Hardy's girl in that an actual character? Heath Ledger's ex-wife or wife.
Yeah, Michelle Williams.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think that was probably something I think they came up with for that.
So maybe she snapped away or whatever.
Right. I don't know. And then there's the whole thing: is Venom in like the same universe as this, version of Peter Parker?
I think so.
Because they could also say, oh, he's in a different Spider-Verse.
What if that's already the reason?
What?
To get into real big spoilers.
Okay.
Okay? So real big spoilers.
Right.
What if Venom comes after him because of what he sees on that screen at the end of the movie?
Oh,
Because it's very easy for that to happen.
That's very true. I thought that was maybe they were going to do like the Sinister Six or something like that.
My one friend thinks it's gonna lead into Kraven the Hunter, which
I
makes sense.
I could see that too.
But I mean, that you could even do Sinister Six with him because I think he's part of them, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Kraven the Hunter is part of the Sinister. Well, I think he's been in versions of the Sinister Six.
Yeah, because they alternate.
Yeah.
They got to introduce Green Goblin.
I do wonder how that's gonna all shake out.
Like, I feel like they have to do another one before they introduce all these villains.
Yeah.
Or where they introduce some of them.
Because there's no Harry Osborn, there's no Norman Osborn. I haven't even seen any Oscorp stuff.
Right now, there's one villain they have alive.
No, I thought they had 2.
Who's the second one?
The guy. So in the end of Homecoming.
Oh, you're talking Shocker?
Well, no, not Shocker. But that could also be one too. Michael Keaton meets a guy in prison. He's like, so who's Spider-Man or whatever, blah blah blah, and his name is what is his name, Garth or something like that. But that character is the Scorpion.
Okay. So
and who's also in the Sinister Six.
So you got 3.
So you have yeah.
Because you got Shocker, you got Vulture, and Scorpion.
And we don't know what happened with Mysterio.
I thought he died.
See, that's the thing. Did he die? Did he fake his death?
Well, he asked the glasses if this is real.
Right.
And the glasses say yes. So I don't think he could have faked that.
Right.
I think the reason that video went out there was because...
Hit the other guy.
Yeah, the guy from Iron Man 1.
Yeah, but he could also very easily still do the Mysterio stuff. He could
you think he could just be Mysterio now?
Right. Like, he has all the information, and he was the one who built the drones in the first place, so he'll probably be able to do some of that stuff. And the costume pretty much, it covers his head anyways, so... Yeah.
Makes sense.
I did like that part, though. So, after... We've been jumping around over the place here, but after they reveal, hey, Mysterio is like a fake thing, it's all a big sting to get these glasses that have control these drones or whatever, they show what Mysterio actually looks like when he's, he's in like a motion capture suit, but he still has like that bubble thing over his head, so it's like they kept that kind of like consistent through the whole thing. I kind of like that part of it.
Yes.
And he always has like the big bubble thing on his head. And then Spider-Man punches him that stupid bubble thing.
Not even him, though.
Yeah.
Punches... I don't know what he punches.
It's true.
Because he has to have hit something. Maybe a drone.
Yeah.
Just punched a drone in the face.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were jumping all over the place, but what were your favorite parts of this?
Oh, man. I really loved the whole... scene where the bus... There's a scene with a bus being chased by a drone. I thought that one was hilarious and great.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
And some of the fights were really cool. The Molten Man fight, the middle fight, I guess, with Molten Man with the Ferris wheel.
Yeah,
it's really cool stuff. And you don't even pay attention to the big plot twist until afterwards,
right?
When it happens. But yeah, you see it happen.
Yeah. And also, I like the so he gets a black costume from Nick Fury, which we'll tell you about that.
Yeah, not even from Nick Fury.
Yeah. So they call Ned calls him Night Monkey, because it's like Spider-Man wouldn't be in Europe. Like, why would Spider-Man be in Europe, kind of thing. So they make he calls him. It's like the European knockoff version called Night Monkey. Which I thought was hilarious, and they keep that joke going through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it had like good parts. I do like the part, where Peter, he doesn't really want this responsibility. He doesn't want it. Like, he kind of sits down with Jake Gyllenhaal and says, "I don't want this. It's like, it's too much for me. I just want to be a kid," kind of thing. And, he doesn't want to take on that extra baggage or whatever. And he's already kind of feeling it, like, people are, like, he thinks that people are, like, looking at him to be the next, Iron Man. And while he is, like, smart and, like, all this stuff, he idealizes what he thought Tony was. But I like the part later where Happy kind of, like, Jon Favreau's character kind of says, he's like, Tony didn't even know what Tony was doing. He was making it up half the time. It's just like, you can't really like live up to a person who really didn't have a plan of his own, kind of thing. He just kind of like, he was just going along trying to do the best he could with what he had. And I appreciate that. I thought that was good.
And I think he didn't really have that before. I think the reason for that is this particular run of Spider-Man doesn't have that Uncle Ben thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it does.
But it doesn't have that twist with him.
Right. It doesn't have that. They don't talk about it the same way.
They don't talk about him stepping away and then becoming a hero after Uncle Ben passes, and they don't do any of that. So now they have that in the series. They just didn't do it the same way they've done it. Exactly.
It's kind of like he had the father figure, hero figure they looked up to. It was just Tony Stark. And as they they got to know each other and stuff, and then when Tony sacrifices himself, and that's where he kind of gets into this I feel like I'm supposed to be responsible for all this stuff.
Yeah.
All right. I did like that. Again, the action was really good. It had so many good funny moments, little small things here and there, and also the big reveal at the end. which was, well, actually there were several. There was like the mid-credit scene,
and the before credits too.
The before credit scene, and then the after credits part. So they're at the end, Peter reveals he's Spider-Man to MJ. They're like kind of dating. He takes her for a swing around the city. They land. He's about to, like, I guess, jump off and go somewhere else, and then like a news flash comes up, and it's dailybugle.net, and who runs it but J.K. Simmons. So they were like, oh yeah, you love this guy, J. Jonah Jameson? We're bringing him back as J. Jonah Jameson. And I thought it was perfect. He looked, I mean, I like that they kind of just put the sideburns on, but not like, not having that crazy, like, flat top hair.
Yeah.
But again, he was just like, like, here's the big reveal. Mysterio made one last message, and it's like, Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and he killed me.
Not only that he killed him, he
was responsible.
Mysterio blames him for those...
the attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's actually him doing it. So he gets blamed for all that. And then gets his identity revealed. So instead of it being like what's Spider-Man's last movie, or the next movie was going to be like senior year or whatever, it's going to be hey, deal with the fact that everybody knows who you are now, which is going to be crazy. They've done this in the comics, but it was more of he comes out and tells people, like he does like the I am Iron Man, but he's like I am Spider-Man during Civil War. But they didn't do that this time, so I figured like kind of we're gonna jump over that. But like the whole movie, he's trying to protect his identity, from everybody, doing all these lies and running around. And at the very end, it's kind of like it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's only like half the big reveal. The other big reveal is that Nick Fury and Maria Hill were.
Well, is she there?
What do you mean?
Well, okay, you go ahead.
I was gonna say it's actually the two Skrulls from Captain Marvel. I want to say Talos, and his wife, and they're like they've been playing as Nick Fury and Maria Hill, because big reveal, Nick Fury is out in space, which is probably why the Avengers didn't deal with this. I mean,
yeah,
the monsters, that's not really a Spider-Man kind of thing, like dealing with giant world-ending monsters. It would be like somebody else. It would be like you call up War Machine or Falcon or Professor Hulk, any of those guys to deal with this, and I'm just like, well, where are all those guys? So Nick Fury's on a space station. I'm guessing this is going to be related to S.H.I.E.L.D.'s other division, SWORD, which deals with intergalactic threats or whatever, blah blah blah, and they're building like a space station with a bunch of Skrulls and stuff. So I'm betting that's going to come up in Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah.
But who knows? I don't know if this is going to relate into another Avengers movie. We don't know what Phase 4 is going to be yet.
We don't even know what the next movie is, do we?
No. There's nothing announced. Like, this is kind of like the big thing.
They just have times or dates.
They have dates reserved, but there's no, hey, this Guardians Volume 3 is coming out this time. Or, whatever the next thing is going to be.
Well, we know they're making, Guardians, a Black Widow movie.
Right. We do know they've actually started shooting the Black Widow movie.
Doctor Strange 2 and Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah.
And those are the only ones?
And I'm pretty sure Black Panther 2.
Well, yeah.
And whatever else is going to come down the line.
Yeah, that's another thing. Black Panther's not even there.
Yeah, that was another thing too. I was kind of like, well, who's working on this thing? Like, is it just Skrulls, or is it,
Yeah, it seems like it would probably be just Skrulls, because they're kind of smart.
Yeah, and they're kind of looking for their own home world or whatever. I don't know if that's actually happened yet. So, alright, so that's kind of like the big reveal at the very end. They kind of like say, hey, there's big. They had talked about they would do like more galactic type movies, and who knows? Fantastic Four could show up, the X-Men could show up. Who knows?
Yeah, well, the Fantastic Four would make sense, I guess.
Yeah. Like, if all of a sudden they were just, like, out of nowhere, oh, hey, this is Reed Richards and Sue and Johnny and, Ben. They're, like, astronauts from Earth. They're going to be working on the space station, and then something happens where they end up getting exposed to cosmic radiation, and that's how they kind of introduce them.
Yeah, or they just have the powers.
Or it could be, because Skrulls are definitely in their universe. That was kind of, they introduced the Skrulls. Somebody said that they could do a movie where it's like it takes place in the 60s and do like something like the Right Stuff, and it's like with them, and they go off into space, get lost, and then come back, but it's like been like so many years later.
That would be cool.
Kind of like Interstellar or whatever.
Yeah. So
who knows? So that's Spider-Man Far From Home. I can't wait to see where this whole is going to go. But overall, I thought it was great. You thought it was good?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I
definitely recommend it.
I think it's just as good as, well, almost as good as the first one.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty on par.
They've consistently had good villains so far.
Yeah.
And they do the thing that Marvel never seems to typically do well.
Which is
have the villain be that interesting. Have their idea be that interesting, right?
Right.
Vulture just wants to steal stuff. And that's dumbed down criminal with cool stuff.
Right.
And it's interesting because they don't try and do that. And then Mysterio has this big convoluted plan, but you don't know quite why.
Right.
But still, and Mysterio's my favorite villain, so...
Oh, really?
Spider-Man, yeah. I love the design of Mysterio. And I hate that he's always a joke, and he's not a joke in this one.
Yeah. I've only seen... There's been a couple things. I think, if you ever see... what was it? Or read, I'm sorry. Guardian... I think it's Guardian Devil, which is the Kevin Smith Daredevil run. And Mysterio's, I think, like, the big villain in that. And he actually, like, does a really good job with it.
Is he a joke, or is he...
No.
Good.
I mean, he's still, like, he has the costume and everything, but it's like, he's not like they don't treat him like a joke, which I appreciate.
That's usually how he's treated. It bugs me.
It is. But he also is like a villain with the, eyes on his cape buckles and...
Yeah, but in this universe, there's Doctor Strange, and
he's
true. Serious, right?
That's true.
I don't know. It doesn't need to be... He doesn't need to be a giant joke, in my opinion.
Yeah. He always had a funky costume. I always kind of appreciated that. Giant fishbowl head. I mean, it's very iconic. So I'm sure that's why they kept it in this one. I did like the part where he's yelling at his crew. He's like, Nancy, I need that cape steamed. I might meet the queen. He's like, I want it perfect. Yeah, it was good. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. And also, just came out recently, but on the small screen, Netflix, Stranger Things season 3. And I gotta say, like, I've watched it all the way through. I really liked it. I thought it was good. We're not gonna spoil that quite yet.
Yeah, I'm only an episode and almost the second one in.
So we can talk about that. First episode,
really solid.
Pretty solid. It's kind of like what's everybody doing with their summer kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because they've done. What was the first one? Was definitely. Was it spring? The first one? I know the second one was fall. It was all about fall.
Yeah, I think because Halloween was involved and stuff too. But yeah,
it might have been spring, fall, and then
I think.
Summer.
It's actually been a while since I've seen the first one, the first season.
Yeah, I know they're in school.
Yeah. But yeah, like definitely the second one is fall, October, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, they have Halloween on the episode. They one of the episodes.
Right, and they all dress as the Ghostbusters. Dead on, yeah.
But more to come with something I was just showing Tim. But
right,
they I don't know. They definitely ramped up the heck out of the production values. The CG's a million times better than I think it's ever been.
Yeah, like even the first episode. This isn't too much of a spoiler, but it takes place in Russia, and they build like this, basically a machine to kind of drill into the upside down. It's the upside down, right?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah, they drill into like the upside down, and it's impressive. I gotta say, like the amount of like effort they put into their CG is very impressive.
And then what happens afterwards is just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, basically, some Russian scientists become piles of mush, and not even like, and they show it like them dying, like being melted by, I guess like the machine overloading or whatever, in slow motion. So you see like these scientists being like struck by this energy surges and just like melting slowly, like creepily, almost like Raiders of the Lost Ark, but just probably a little bit creepier in certain ways, but yeah.
Yeah. And then just craziness is ensuing on the other side of the world, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I assume has something to do with that.
What?
There's a connection.
Obviously. Oh, yes, yeah.
To be continued with that.
To be continued, but and it's like, everybody's doing stuff for the summer. Some people are getting ready for college. You see like the Nancy and Jonathan.
Yeah.
Their relationship is kind of continued, and like they're interning at a newspaper, like the town Hawkins newspaper and stuff.
Is that what they are? They're interns?
I'm pretty sure they're interns, or maybe part-timers or something like that. But and then also you see like the kids, they've been like hanging out. Some of the guys have gotten girlfriends, or like I think Max is dating Lucas, and Mike is with 11,
of course. And then I think Dustin may or may not have a girlfriend at my point in the show.
Right.
Because he says he does.
He says he does. He was at camp. He had I forget where she's from. Utah. Yeah. So.
Because she's Mormon.
She's Mormon. Like it basically, it's like my girlfriend lives in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Too bad you'll never get to meet her. She's great. She's super cute. She's all these things. It's like the perfect girl. It sounds like too perfect, and it's probably a lie kind of thing. But his friends don't really call him on it too much.
Yeah, Max does. I think she's the only one.
A little bit, yeah. But her brother, like it shows like Max's brother's lifeguarding at a pool.
Yeah.
Which all the ladies seem to appreciate.
Yep, that was
the mom.
An interesting choice.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he have a relationship with that mom in this season 2?
I think so, yeah.
I think he did, yeah.
I think a little bit of something there. And trying to think what else kind of like happens.
There's a big mall.
Yes,
it's going to be important.
And what's his name is working there? Steve?
Steve, yeah.
Steve is working there with Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter.
Oh, is that who that is?
That is who that is. I think her name is Robin on the show. But,
yes, it's Robin.
But her real name is Maya something, maybe?
She's become a meme.
She has?
Yeah, well, there's that scene in the episode where she's holding up a sign.
Oh, yes.
And people just keep writing stuff on that.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Okay, that's good. Because I thought that was pretty funny in itself, that, it's just like all these other people, or it's basically Steve is striking out with all the girls.
I'm going to make a prediction that there's going to be a love interest there. That's easy.
You think?
What a bold prediction.
You might be wrong.
Nah.
You might be wrong.
Okay.
I'm gonna say you might be wrong, but I'm not gonna say.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of like it's good, like catching up where everybody's been. The Mind Flayer gives you where he's been. Kind of.
The Mind Flayer. I forgot that's what they called it.
Yeah, it's a D&D reference.
Yeah. Well, I saw a pop,
mm-hmm.
which spoiled what's happening now to one of the characters for me.
Oh, okay.
And because of their name.
What is?
Do I spoil it for people listening?
Well, yeah, if you want to.
Flayed, and then that character.
Okay.
And then you can see all of the veins.
Yeah.
The black veins.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going to happen with them, but it doesn't look like it's going to be healthy for anybody.
Yeah. No, I can't wait for you to get to further into the season. It's good.
Yeah.
Winona's working at her drugstore,
which is going out of business, kind of,
because of the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where's the mall? Is the mall where the research facility was?
No.
Okay.
They make that pretty clear. They show it later, but the mall is not by that at all. Yeah. But
I wonder why they allowed this to happen in a small town.
I don't know. Have you met the mayor yet?
No.
You'll like the mayor.
Oh, wait. Is he an actor that I recognized?
You would.
Yeah. And then I met him. I didn't know he was the mayor. I didn't realize it.
Okay.
He just showed up and told Hopper to go somewhere. Get to work.
Oh, okay. Alright.
I think it's Carrie Elvis we're talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Also, I think the boss of the newspaper might be Zelko Ivanek. I gotta check it out, but he's been in like a billion things.
Yeah, I've definitely seen the...
But he's got a toupee on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's bald.
Oh, okay.
The actual actor.
Maybe that's why I didn't recognize him. I was like, I was like, I know that guy from something, but I couldn't think of, like, what.
Yeah. He's everywhere, that guy.
Oh, yeah?
He's been in, like, everything.
And, what's his name? I forget the other actor's name. He's, like, the really tall, like, blonde guy. He's been in, like, a million things, too.
Which, the other guy at the...
At the newspaper.
The jerk?
The jerk, basically.
Okay. Yeah, he looked familiar. At first I thought he was Jake Busey, but he's not.
It's not Jake Busey?
Oh, maybe it is.
Oh, okay.
He looked like him.
That's who I thought it was. It was Jake Busey.
The less crazy version of Gary?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe.
I don't know, he seems to be doing okay. But yeah, we won't go too far into it because, we'll wait till you finish and till other people have kind of, I'm sure, like after, next week or maybe 2.
Yeah. I mean, it's only 8 episodes, so I should be able to get through it.
Yeah. It goes pretty fast, but I think the episodes are a little bit longer. So, but good, really good. I think 8 should be like their new kind of like regular season order. I was gonna say we could talk some Toy Story 4, but
no, we can.
I would just say it was good. It's worth watching. That's all you need to know.
Does it make you cry?
It can make you cry. It's got some sad moments in there.
Then it's Pixar.
Yep, that's pretty much Pixar. Like really knows how to get you, like just stab you right through the heart. But the story is actually good, so it's definitely worth watching. But I definitely want to get onto. You've been playing Bloodstained?
I have. I've been playing Bloodstained. I had backed it on Kickstarter forever ago.
Right.
I guess it was 3 years ago. Maybe even longer, actually. But, yeah, it came out. It's really solid. It is 100% Castlevania without being called Castlevania.
Really?
Yes. To the point where they have the pictures that come off the wall and attack you.
Oh, really?
Like, it's Castlevania.
Wow.
It's Symphony of the Night Castlevania. So you get the weapon drops off enemies.
Of course.
But they're randomized and they create items and then you upgrade those by earning more of those.
Right. Now, do you use a whip in this?
You can, but your weapons are all different. So you could play the first 2 weapons you start with, I think, are a dagger, or they literally call it Kung Fu Kick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you just kick. And I like the kick to start because it has range.
Okay.
And the dagger is short. But I had maybe in the first hour I probably had 10 weapons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the weapons change completely how you play.
Okay.
For the most part, unless they're styled similar. And then the gear changes your look, which is really cool, because you never see that really in Metroidvanias.
Okay.
So you get different outfits, they give you different strengths, weaknesses.
Alright. No, that sounds good. I mean, that sounds like Castlevania to me, so.
Yeah, it's everything they promised, which is great.
And you haven't seen, it's not glitchy, it's not
No. I heard the Switch version was weaker graphically, but it's not that I had a problem with.
Okay. And who owns Castlevania? Is it Capcom?
Konami owns Castlevania, which is why they don't make them.
Right.
Because they're making pachinko.
Sure.
But, yeah, they did put out an anniversary collection of old Konami games, or old Castlevania games.
Okay. So that's nice.
Well, they had to because they knew Bloodstained was going to make people interested in the series again, and they could make money on it. It's not nice. It's just, hey, we're going to make money, and we're going to do it the cheapest way possible.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you worked on this game and to make something like really nice from the original, guys who worked on Castlevania. We're just going to, take the stuff you've already done and put it out there again and hope people want to still play it.
And they do. And it's $20 for, I think, like 6 games or something. Which
isn't bad. That's actually pretty good. How much did you have to pay for Bloodstained?
I think I paid $30 for backing it on Kickstarter.
That's not bad for a brand new game.
No, and even if I hadn't, I think the list on it is $30. Like, I think that's the retail price anyway.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, they gave me the code on time and everything, so I didn't have to worry about that. They didn't take away anything. They didn't give anybody exclusive stuff that I can't have because I supported it.
Oh.
Unlike Shenmue.
Oh, man.
Back in the news again.
Now, this is Shenmue 3, right?
This is Shenmue 3. Now, just a quick recap for those of you who've been keeping score as to how to not handle a Kickstarter.
Yes.
Alright, Shenmue 3. It's E3, I think 2016?
Okay.
Maybe 2017. Whatever. It wasn't last E3, it wasn't this one. So.
Right.
They come out on stage during the Sony event, and they say, guys, we have a big announcement. We're making Shenmue 3. But this is at the Sony event. This is still my favorite part of all this.
Right.
But we need your help. We're making a Kickstarter for Shenmue 3.
Which is so cheap and so awful. They're not an indie company.
Well, it's EastNet, which I guess you can consider indie because they're the guys that make it. But published by... I forget who's publishing it now. It's not Sony.
It's not Sony. Okay. I thought it was Sony.
But Sony put a bunch of money into it. Anyway, so they did that, and that was already underhanded because why do you need money if Sony's giving you all this money?
Exactly.
And then they did that thing, we talked about it I think a couple weeks ago, where they were like, hey, it's on the Epic Game Store, not Steam, so if you guys don't like Steam, whatever. Now they said they're going to give refunds to people that want it, finally.
Okay.
But one piece of good news goes with one piece of really obnoxious news. Hey, you know what? If you pre-order it in stores, guys, you get special content. Do you know what you don't get if you backed the game and paid for it 2 years ago, at least?
Right.
That's special content.
Because you gave them the ability to make the game.
But they're being so kind as to allow you to buy it if you want to. It's going to be available in like the PlayStation Store, the Epic Game Store. That is a special kind of obnoxious. And the reason they're giving is that it's locked behind exclusivity agreements. But I don't see how you can make those agreements knowing that you have the fan base there. It's like I've taken money from you and then I've agreed to do something specifically only for other people.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's okay. Like how that's allowed. Well, I get how it's allowed. It's not illegal. It's just immoral, I guess.
And also, it's cheating your fans. It's
the
really
people who literally paid for the project.
Yeah, who wanted this game to begin with. Who, if it were like any other studio, it would have been like, like they would have just, funded it themselves. Or like if it's an indie studio, it would have been legit asking for help. But this is just like, hey, we know you like this enough that we can basically milk you for more money, and that's what happened. Yeah. So, and speaking of companies who like to milk people for money, what did you also find out is coming out soon?
Oh man, Nintendo's big announcement yesterday. Switch Lite. It is the Nintendo Switch without the ability to switch anything.
Yes.
Because it is portable only. It has a slightly smaller screen, negligible improvement in battery life, but they won't say how much.
Which just means to me maybe the battery's smaller in it, but it's like probably the power output's the same.
Well, I mean, I would think it would at least get you a stronger battery life because the screen's smaller, so it's using less power, but apparently not. The Joy-Cons don't come off.
Which is also, like, that's the biggest thing to me. Like, if you're gonna do this, like, really do this, it should just be a smaller system. Sure, the screen's gonna be a little bit smaller or whatever, but the fact that the way you play games is you actually snap off those side pieces so you can, like, move them around. They have, they're basically your motion controls for certain things. And the fact that they don't even have that ability really sucks.
Yeah. And then there's also the fact that it doesn't have a kickstand, which removes the local... I would say that and the Joy-Cons not being removable kills anything that makes it local co-op at all. Because you can't kickstand it up. You have to get another set of Joy-Cons if you want to do another set of player. It's just stupid. It's just a waste of money, but that's whatever. It's $100 less, so if you're traveling, I guess it's for you. If you're a traveler, like business, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe sports guy.
Maybe you just want to play like an older sports game because it does have the connection to the Nintendo Network.
Yeah, I mean you can still do most of the stuff you can do with a regular Switch. You can't do, let's say, their big thing this past spring was Labo VR.
Okay.
Can't do that because it has a spot for the Switch screen, which is now A, a different size.
Yeah.
And B, has permanent Joy-Cons on it. So, goodbye to that.
Because even with those Labo stuff, they made it so you could get the detached ones off, right?
Yeah, you use them.
Yeah.
So, I might be holding there's like the one that looks like you're aiming down a periscope with your face.
Okay, yeah.
The Joy-Cons are to my left and right, but the screen is right in front of me inside the actual goggles setup.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
So it's constantly detached. It needs to be. When you're doing the controls, like the remote control walking thing, that's actually the Joy-Cons are what's making it move. And do you know how they make it move?
How?
HD Rumble. Do you know what the Switch Lite doesn't have? HD Rumble. Like, it doesn't shake. That's whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Which also kind of, like, why does that happen? Because even my cell phone has a gyroscope in it that you can, move around so it knows which way the screen is facing. Like, not even that feature's in there, which is terrible.
No, it has the gyroscope.
Oh, it does have the gyroscope.
It has the gyroscope, but the functionality of it is gone because now you're attached to that screen.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're gyroscoping, you better be moving your whole body to make sense of that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting September when that comes out.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, you're thinking that it's gonna be like another year before they come out with like a version of this that's probably made with detachable, like the side paddles and everything.
Yeah, they're gonna make a Switch Pro. Is what they're gonna make. But that's the last thing I have. The last point I have about the Lite is those Joy-Cons break. They break. They get stick drift, meaning your character, like the analog stick, sometimes goes to the left by itself.
Oh, okay.
Or buttons stop going. What does that mean for you when you have that and the Joy-Con is permanently attached to the system? It means you have to replace a $200 system instead of a $40 separate Joy-Con or an $80 for the pair.
Yeah, so if you break that, a button stops working or something happens, yeah, you have to get a whole new system.
Yeah, and that's not good.
Yeah. Well, it's good for Nintendo.
It's great for Nintendo, but it's bad for the customer, the consumer.
Yeah. So that's disappointing. Hopefully, they'll try to come up with something a little bit better, like later or whatever. But I would just tell people, just don't go for the Lite. Just buy a regular Switch, or just wait a little while, and they'll probably have like a smaller version of it out there.
Why buy limitations?
Exactly. So we're gonna be rounding up.
Yeah.
We're gonna round it up
to the next even number.
Yep. We're gonna be wrapping it up here. And do you have anything else that you want to mention?
No, I think I'm good for today.
Any upcoming projects or anything?
No, not really. Nothing special going on with me. I think I might actually take some time to start playing Mario Maker.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be able to talk about that next time, and some of the hellish creations that people have put online. Those are always fun.
No, cool. And depending on the next time we meet again, we might be talking San Diego Comic-Con, because that's on the horizon. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to come out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and movie-wise, I think like the big one that's coming out is everybody's kind of want the new Lion King, or rather the remake of the Lion King.
Yep.
See how that goes.
Well, I like Jon Favreau, and
I do like him.
I thought the Jungle Book was solid.
Yes, I did too. I thought they actually added a few things that were kind of interesting to it.
Yes. So I think this will be fine. I'm more concerned with Mulan and The Little Mermaid. But we'll see. I mean, they haven't done too bad. I didn't like Aladdin.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on Aladdin.
Will
And
Smith
it was a
not
Guy
good.
Ritchie film, right?
Yes.
Which is strange to me. It doesn't scream Aladdin to me.
Well, I guess he needed to make the money back after King Arthur.
Yeah, I had high hopes for King Arthur. It was... Parts of it were good, and parts I really liked, but there were certain parts I was just like, I could do without this. But, I get it. I heard there's even talks of another Sherlock Holmes. Like he's going to do another one, maybe.
As long as he can get Robert Downey Jr. back.
Exactly.
Oh, man. They were both in Marvel movies recently.
Who?
Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law.
That's true. Jude Law is Captain Marvel. And,
yeah, well, he's
and Robert Downey, of course, was just in Infinity
Spiderman.
Spiderman, true. I mean, they show, like, that was the other thing we forgot to mention is there's so many, like, memorials and stuff. In fact, there's, like, a memorial for, like, the Black Widow and Captain America and Iron Man and stuff like that. The school was playing on their, like, little, like, in-studio television network kind of thing.
Which didn't make sense because they did it 8 months later. Because that's supposed to be 8 months after.
Okay.
After War. I don't understand why that would be that day.
I don't either. So maybe it was, I don't know, it was the anniversary of the time that everybody came back. I think it was kind of also their way of catching everybody up. Kind of like, hey, in case you didn't see, if you're one of those few people that didn't see Endgame, here's what happened, and stuff like that. But pretty much if it's this crowd, you know that like they've probably seen Endgame. They wanted more Marvel stuff related to that universe.
The ones I feel bad for are the people that didn't see Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because there's some stuff.
Yeah, there is.
And that's
some scrolly stuff.
Yeah, and that's a hefty spoiler.
It is.
It's also very confusing because they're not usually good guys.
Yeah, it's true. In the comics, they've kind of played both sides. It's sometimes they're good, sometimes they're evil. Kind of just like they serve their own interests or whatever.
But they're not like joking around in a car.
Not usually. They're very serious most of the time. They definitely made them not so villainous in this particular incarnation. They might turn around and like be something completely different like later, but I think the role of bad aliens are now gonna fall to like the Kree and whatever they're gonna come up with, like
Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock. We'll see.
Because he's still a thing.
Maybe. We'll see what happens if they do Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Well, they're doing it.
They're doing it, but like what they're gonna do, if they're gonna introduce certain characters, or maybe not. Maybe Thor's gonna show up. I would love to see Lebowski.
It should
Thor
be
hang
called
out.
As Guardians of the Galaxy.
It should be. If it's not like that's not the subtitle, I'll be very disappointed. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Volume 3, As Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like you're in charge. Of course you are. Of course you are.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
Yeah. But, as always, since we're wrapping up here, you can find me. I am at Tim Martinek on the Instagrams. You can always hashtag your stuff Precarious Pixels and we'll find it. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes. We're not on Spotify yet. That might be something I'm working on right now. YouTube, of course. Precarious Pixels is our channel. And Bob, where can they find you at?
They can be bored by me at Bob J. Martin, Marton, on Instagram, and then Twitter, Martin_Bob.
Yes. And they won't be bored because you're awesome.
That's the thing you said.
That is the thing I said. And it's true. So, until next time, keep designing, keep creating, do all that great stuff. People need content. There's so many things that people, platforms that need content. So always be creating, always be doing stuff. Me and Bob are working on a small project right now that hopefully is going to turn into something a little bit, a little, I don't know what you call it, like a short story that we're working on that hopefully is going to turn into something a little bit more major.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, and even if not, we've got that just adds another cool thing we've worked on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So until next time, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
To do a little redesigning with us, you can find Bob at Marton MARTON_BOB on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram at Tim Martinek, all one word, TIMMARTINEC. And you can join in us, have some fun, do your redesigns for this week's redesign. It's a lot of fun for us to do this, but we like to see fresh ideas and fresh artists doing what they do as well. You can also hashtag it Precarious Pixels and we'll find it as well.